Nowadays, visitors to the Great Pyramid find its passages and chambers bare and empty, its complex inner construction apparently purposeless, its niches and nooks meaningless. It has been so ever since the first men had entered the pyramid. But it was not so when Ninurta had entered it, circa 8670 BCE, according to our calculations. Until the radiant place yielded by its defenders Ninurta had entered, the Sumerian text relates, and what he had done after he had entered changed not only the Great Pyramid from within and without, but also the course of human affairs." End quote. When Ninurta went into the Great Pyramid, he must have wondered what he would find inside. Conceived by Enki, planned by Ra, built by Geb, equipped by Thoth, defended by Nergal, what mysteries of space guidance, what secrets of impregnable defense did it hold? End quote. On the north face of the pyramid, the text explained that a swivel stone swung open to reveal the entranceway to Ninurta. After following the straight descending passage to the lower service chambers, Ninurta could see a shaft dug by the defenders in search for subterranean water, but he was more interested in the upper passages and chambers. That is where the magical stones were arrayed, some earthly, some heavenly, some the likes of which he had never seen. The stones beamed pulsations for the guidance of the astronauts and the radiations for the defense of the structure. As Ninurta inspected the array of stones and instruments, he placed them in three categories. They would be smashed up and destroyed, taken away for display, or salvaged as instruments elsewhere. Sitchin tells us that we know of these destinies and of the order in which Ninurta had stopped by the stones from the text inscribed on tablets 10 through 13 of the epic poem. It is by following and correctly interpreting this text that the mystery of the purpose and function of many features of the pyramid's inner structure can be finally understood. Sitchin's interpretation of the last four tablets is as follows, quote, "Going up the ascending passage, Ninurta reached its junction with the imposing Grand Gallery and a horizontal passage. Ninurta followed the horizontal passage first, reaching a large chamber with a corbelled roof. Called the vulva in the Ninharzag poem, the chamber's axis lay exactly on the east-west center line of the pyramid. Its emission, an outpouring which is like a lion whom no one dares attack, came from a stone fitted into a niche that was hollowed out in the east wall. It was the Sham, Destiny Stone, emitting a red radiance which Ninurta saw in the darkness. It was the pulsating heart of the pyramid. But it was an anathema to Ninurta, for during the battle when he was aloft, the stone's strong power was used to grab to kill me with a tracking which kills to seize me. He ordered it pulled out, be taken apart, and to obliteration be destroyed." Returning to the junction of the passages, Ninurta looked around him in the Grand Gallery. As ingenious and complex as the whole pyramid was, this gallery was breathtaking and a most unusual sight. Compared to the low and narrow passages, it rose high, some 28 feet, in 7 overlapping stages, its walls closing in ever more at each stage. The ceiling was also built in slanting sections, each one angled into the massive wall so as not to exert any pressure on the segment below it. Whereas in the narrow passages only a dim green light glowed, the gallery glittered in multicolored lights. Its vault is like a rainbow, the darkness ends there. The many hued glows were emitted by 27 pairs of diverse crystal stones that were evenly spaced along the whole length of each side of the gallery. These glowing stones were placed in cavities that were precisely cut into the ramps that ran the length of the gallery on both sides of its floor. Firmly held in place by an elaborate niche in the wall, each crystal stone emitted a different radiance, giving the place its rainbow effect. For the moment, Ninurta passed by them on his way up. His priority was the uppermost grand chamber and its pulsating stone. Atop the grand gallery, Ninurta reached a great step which led through a low passage to an antechamber of unique design. There, 3 portcullises, the bolt, the bar, and the lock of the Sumerian poem, elaborately fitted into grooves in the walls and floor, hermetically sealed off the uppermost great chamber. To foe it is not opened, only to them who live, for them it is opened. But now, by pulling some cords, the portcullises were raised, and Ninurta passed through. He was now in the pyramid's most restricted, sacred chamber, from which the guiding net was spread out to survey heaven and earth. The delicate mechanism was housed in a hollowed-out stone chest, placed precisely on the north-south axis of the pyramid. It responded to vibrations with bell-like resonance. The heart of the guidance unit was the gug, direction-determining stone. Its emissions, amplified by 5 hollow compartments constructed above the chamber, were beamed out and up through 2 sloping channels leading to the north and south faces of the pyramid. Ninurta ordered the stone destroyed. Then, by the fate-determining Ninurta, on that day was the gug stone from its hollow taken out and smashed. To make sure no one would ever attempt to restore the direction-determining functions of the pyramid, Ninurta also ordered the 3 portcullises removed. First to be tackled were the Shu, vertical stone, and the Kashura, awesome pure which opens stone. Then the hero stepped up to the Sagkal stone, sturdy stone which is in front. He called out his full strength, shook it out of its grooves, cut the cords that were holding it, and to the ground set its course. Now came the turn of the mineral stones and crystals positioned atop the ramps in the grand gallery. As he walked down, Ninurta stopped by each one of them to declare its fate. Were it not for the breaks in the clay tablets on which the text was written, we would have had the names of all 27 of them. As it is, only 22 names are legible. Several of them Ninurta ordered to be crushed or pulverized. Others, which could be used in the new Mission Control Center, were ordered given to Utu, and the rest were carried off to Mesopotamia to be displayed in Ninurta's temple in Nippur and elsewhere as constant evidence of the great victory of the Enlilites over the Enki gods. Finally, there was the apex stone of the pyramid, the Yule, high as the sky stone. Let the mother's offspring see it no more, he ordered, and the stone was sent crashing down. End quote.